So I'm back with the car, and let me tell you the 3 times I've actually started the engine since it was turbo. Number 1, with the bonnet open to bleed the coolant, that was fine. Number 2, just a quick drive, and that was just to take some data logging, which I'll show you, and that was pretty much fine. And the 3rd time was I went to go and get some fuel, but I realised I'd forgotten my wallet, so I had to go there, come back, to go there, and come back again. By the end it was getting very, very hot, the car was overheating a bit. So I've got to do something with the cooling of this car, because at the moment, let me tell you where we stand. So you can't even see the radiator. So where is the radiator in relation to the front of the car? Let's have a look at this. So radiator's here. It's been covered by the number plate, the intercooler, this filler bar, the bumper, the T-bar, everything. So it basically gets in zero flow, and this has got to change, or it's never going to get better. So what I need to do is move the number plate out of the way. I've bought myself a little Jap number plate. I'm going to put that here. Right, that's already done something. Out of the radiator, it's kind of impeded by the air filter. Everything else in the engine bay is also not good. So that's in and out of the radiator. Then radiated heat from the manifold and turbocharger. I didn't have the blanket over the turbine housing, which I'm going to do, and also I need to think about wrapping this exhaust manifold as well to try and stop some of the heat getting out and going onto the radiator. So that's another thing I need to do. Then the next thing I was also thinking about is this coolant pipe. Struggling a little bit for space here, but it would be better if there was a bit of a better neck on the coolant pipe here, and that would enable better flow. So those are the things I need to do. Oh, finally, that's a good point, is the air out is obviously being assisted when the car's stationary with this fan. I've bought myself a SPAL fan, which is better than this eBay kind of cheapo fan. It's more efficient and it will get more airflow. So this being a better fan and having less air filter and stuff behind it is all going to help my cause. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can reposition this air filter. I've got some more pipe. I'm hoping I can undo this bit here, place in this aluminium piece here, and have the air filter maybe over here somewhere. So I'm going to see if I can do that first. So it'll also help because I'll be sucking in slightly less warm air that's been kicked out of the radiator if I have the air filter kind of over in this position. There is a lack of space under here. I've just got to do the best I can. Okay, again, it's just a rough mock-up for now, but I think it's a little bit better. The air filter's right over here now, not stuck behind the radiator, and then I need to think about some airflow to it. But I think that is a bit better than it was, certainly. Also gets rid of that big air filter that was just behind the fan, so you know, maybe the fan can have a better job doing what it's trying to do. But like I say, this is all just temporary kind of mock-up stuff for now, until I can really get things sitting well. I might even just try and undo that and rotate the whole thing around a bit. It might help me a little bit and get it a bit further away from this. Okay, that's a lot better now. So we're kind of on top of this radiator pipe a bit, but it's against the silicon, so I'm not too worried about it. Might be able to push it in a bit of a better place, but I think it's alright. And yeah, this fan has got a much better chance now of being able to kick out some heat. I think the first thing we're going to try and do is just go for some big old holes. I've got this 25mm hole cutter, and I'm just going to go along here and just do as many as I can get in this little line. That'll do something, because I could just cut the whole thing out, but I think that's I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not, so I'm going to just try this first, because I've seen people run big holes in their fronts before and they've got away with it. Glad this is just a test bumper, but it's going through, it's doing a job. So let's carry on. Right, so here's the result. As I say, this is a very rough bumper, so don't worry about that. I can actually see through there the radiator cooling fins, so we're doing something right. This is the spell fan in a bit more detail. It's part number. It's 10" and it's a sucker. So obviously goes on the back of the radiator like the other one. And that just has this little connector in here, and I'll just swap the connector over. Hopefully it should be quite easy. First of all, I'll get the old one off. See, the old one's just it actually looks slightly fatter, but also it's got it's just not as good a fan. So let's take the old one off. It's going to be quite simple. Disconnector down there, pull these little tabs out the back, and we'll just pluck this fan off. The old fan out. I'll probably have to use these sticky pads again and just show you the comparison of the spal fan versus the cheapo one. You can see the actual blades are quite different. Got this kind of curved nature to them as opposed to a flat, and also some resistance to the fan, this one. So obviously the motor is pretty weak on that if the poles aren't magnetised enough to stop it moving. This one you can actually feel it's going to be a real beast. So let's swap these little connectors over. Luckily enough, I think it's got the same size spades. It should be a matter of just unclipping the old ones and pushing it in here. I'll show you. The new spal fan is the same size, but the footprint's a little bit narrower. So I will have to change. The bottom two might be okay. We'll have a look, but I might have to change where the little holders go through. Might have to move these around a little bit. That's not a problem. Figure out whether I want the fan. I think I want the fan at the bottom. Yeah, but maybe it doesn't have to be as far down as it was. We'll have a think. First of all, this spal connector is very simple. You just push to one side, little metal lever, and then you can just push the little connector pin down. Worth saying the blue side is the positive. Under one, you just got to dig out this little white bit first with a flat head. Pipe down either side, you'll get this out here like that, and then you just need to place the blue in the top here and the black in the bottom. So these little silicone boots are a bit long gone, but I'm going to chuck them in there anyway, and then just push that back into the connector. You can see it's the same setup of these little tabs, and that will just push straight in there in the exact same way. So it's got these little tabs that you push down. These are a bit flattened, but then it will just push into the connector. So here's the connector, and this is this way round. The blue's going on the top, and if you can kind of see in there, you might not be able to. You can kind of see in there, there is a little tab. So you have the tab on the outside, this side where my thumb is. This thing the whole way back together. I'm just going to clip this little bit of plastic in a bit better. There you go. It's on both sides. So yeah, like I said before, blue at the top there, black at the bottom. Right, so just as I said, got everything connected up. I've just disconnected the fan thermo switch, and let's have a go. What we're going to do is just jab that in there. And there's a lot of air obviously running. That's actually a lot stronger than my previous fan. So that's great, and you can see it's a bit impeded by my intake there, but it's a lot of air just running there, and that's a good check before everything gets nice and hot that you've actually got a fan working. So I can just plug my little rad fan switch connector back in to my 80° temp switch there, and that's that. So I'm quite happy with that stage of things. So I trial fitted this turbine blanket before. Just comes with some gloves, which I think you need because of the material. It gets itchy otherwise. And then you've got these spring and the two springs here which hold either side, so you basically just put it in. So you can see the blankets on there now. Big side is at the front, you can see kind of collars either side. And then I just need to get these springs on. From what I remember, it's a bit of a pain. I've got the spring in this side first, and then you've got to kind of go round the actual oil in, because there's not enough space between that and the manifold round there. It's all a bit tight, so I'm just going to go around there, fit that first, and then the other side should be a bit easier because there's a lot more space. There we have it, that thing's on both sides with the clips. So here's the old one. You see that's snapped off end, and this one's got a nice non-snapped end like that. This is the old pipe that was on it with some rubber sleeves. I'm just going to pop in a silicone pipe just round here. That's the little tank in place. I've got this silicone hose, just ran it along there. The seal was delivered with all the clips in there, so what I've done is take them all out, and then all you need to do is feed this in, because it's got a little kind of split line there. Feed that in and then pop the little clips in afterwards. It really looks a lot smarter now, and the whole thing's been clipped in. Doesn't really have anywhere to go there, but you know. Yeah. Oh dear. I know it doesn't look great. I'm waiting for a different number plate. This is just a temporary bumper. Keep on telling myself this. I've got another bumper over there which is in much nicer condition. So what I've done is I've just got that heat wrap, folded it in two. I'm just putting it kind of around the exhaust manifold, and I think that's going to reduce the radiated heat to the radiator. And now, really, the only thing left to do is to run the car and see what it does, see if it overheats or not. So I'm going to start off idling it, then I'm going to close the bonnet and then carry on idling it, just see where we get to. I'm going to turn it on, check it's not in gear. So oil pressure's good, oil temperature will take a while to come up, lambda's okay, boost is going to be well, negative. It's a vacuum at the moment, it's not going to be producing boost yet, because it's not where I am. And then water temperature, that's going to have to come up, and then we've got the fuel pressure, and so I'm just going to wait for this to come up, and I'm going to check it. This is plugged in as well, that's a good point. So everything's coming up as I'm expecting. The oil pressure goes down a bit because the oil heats up. Oil temp's coming up, water temp's coming up, and that's 148 Fahrenheit, which I'm not sure of the conversion, but either way. This top hose starts to get hot. Reminds me I need to do something between these two. Probably some little bits between those two as well. I'm trying to do everything I can to set it a bit better. This is only a temporary solution, don't worry. I'm going to actually wrap the full manifold, but I'm just trying to prove concept at the moment. I'm trying to prove that basically get rise up with this, which it seems to. It's a bit more on the coolant temperature top hose, so I'm hoping that will correspond to what's going on in the engine basically. So all I need to do now is wait for this top hose to get hot, the bottom hose will then get hot, and then that will kick on the fan switch at 80 degrees, and then that will hopefully cool things down. So everything's happening as I expect. Look at computer, 188 Fahrenheit, and I've got on here 86 degrees centigrade. I've got on here, I'm just kind of marrying everything up. Probably a little bit over now, but that's on the top hose. It's probably like 91 or something. 92. So this should be hot now. Yeah, that's hot now. And then the bottom hose is heating up a bit as well, which is all good because it means that the system's working. Don't worry about the steam, I've just filled it up a bit. But I don't really want to see any higher than 100 degrees centigrade on there, because that's, you know, that's just not what I want. So let's see how we get on. Right, so we're at 87 degrees centigrade engine temperature. So there's the fans just come on. It's hot, warmish. Now let's see what happens to the coolant temperature. 7.22. Fans are off, so it's clearly controlling it. I'm going to let it do that a couple of times so I know that it's controlling it as is, and then we're going to go for the big test of shutting the bonnet. And then it's either going to lose its cool, as it were. We'll just have to see what happens. But we're 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Just there. I guess as long as it can just keep on injecting the heat, it's going to be happy. I'm going to do that another 2 more times. The fans come off and on. And we're going to see where we stand with the bonnet closed. Is the important necessary check. Right, so that's been off and on, I think 3 or 4 times. It seemed to be happy at 87 degrees. So I'm going to do the big test now. Drop the bonnet. Bonnet closed. Can we still control engine coolant temperature? That is the big test. Fans don't ever go off. That's going to be one thing. And if they do go off, but they keep them coming up, they're going to be coming back on more regularly. But so they've gone off again. You see, 87.22 engine coolant temperature. I think I'm pegged. I think I'm actually pegged. I think it's working, guys. I mean, that's the thing. Okay, the oil temperature isn't up to temp yet, but you know, I've got different devices telling me the same thing. I've got my water temperature here, which isn't going over 100. I've got my fan coming off and on, so that's the 80 degree rad fan switch, and I'm just here idling merrily away. I have to say, it's a bit of an early one, but I might have gone some way to fixing it. And you can see what I've done at the front here. It's not pretty, but that's why I did it to this bumper. The number plate off to one side. The fan itself is working away. I might even eventually chop all this bit out, but it's certainly allowing some kind of movement of air through, which is what needs to happen. So too early to say I've fixed it, I don't know. checked out, never got above 87 degrees engine coolant temperature. And I'll just do some general tests of how hot things are getting just with my hand. Obviously I'm going to stick it on the turbo, but yeah, this pipe here for the intake's getting very hot, silicone less so. So of course I'm going to have to wrap this intake pipe this less so. It's obviously close to the engine, so I'm going to need to do something about that. I actually wonder if it's getting heated up by this pipe as well. Yeah, probably. So I've got to say I'm pretty happy with that. You know, some of the other options of things to do were more extreme than what I did. So I just think I need to come up with probably a more elegant scenario for this. Little blanket thing I've made. So I'm just going to wrap the manifold and that will look a hell of a lot better. So I'm going to get some exhaust strap and do that. Just been for a drive. Obviously I can't film and drive, but it's all fine. Didn't get any excessive temperatures. It's boosting fine up to 7 psi. My air fuel looks good as well. And as soon as I've got someone who can ride along as a passenger, I'll get you a video of that. But all in all, I think I've resolved my overheating issue, which I'm very happy with. You know, it wasn't a major modification really in the end. Just whacking these holes in here and just heat shielding the lot of it. I know it's rough, it's a rough job, but you know, this is a rough bumper, and all I really wanted to do is just kind of make sure I knew you know, what the solution could be, and I think it was just that. It just basic physical properties really. You just got air in, you need to get air out, and then you need to stop it getting so much radiated heat, and that's basically it, and that was good enough to fix it. So I think it doesn't help as well that there's just not a lot of space in the engine bay. It really doesn't help things, but all in all the car's doing very well. Next thing will be the exhaust and a few finesse bits.